Hello, I am your host, Dr. Tom. In this episode, we will be contacting the dead using something called an EVP device. EVP stands for electronic voice phenomenon. First device was invented by a man named Konstantin Raudive. Konstantin Raudive was a Latvian writer and intellectual. He at one time was a student of Carl Jung. And Raudive also studied parapsychology for most of his life. He was especially interested in investigating EVP, electronic voice phenomenon. He worked together with a German parapsychologist by the name of Hans Bender. In the beginning, their work bore very little fruit, although they believed they could hear very weak, muddled voices. However, one night, Konstantin Raudive listened to one recording and he clearly heard a number of voices. When he played the tape over and over, he came to believe he understood all of them. He thought some of which were in German, some in Latvian, and some in French. There's a few different methods that Raudive developed to record EVP. One of them was microphone voices, where one simply leaves the tape recorder running with no one talking. Another one is using radio voices, where one records the white noise from a radio that is not tuned to any particular station. Here are some examples of Raudive's work.
The first voice is that of Margarete Petrowski, who had told the experimenter during her lifetime that she did not believe in an existence after death. After her passing, the experimenter asked her how she felt in the beyond, and a voice, identified as coming from Margarete, answered, "Bedenke, ich bin." German, "Imagine, I am." Again we hear Margarete Petrowski's voice, this time calling her former employer, Dr. Zenta Maurina. Zenta.
After listening to this sample, one may wonder, is this activity safe to do on your own? The short answer to that question, no, you shouldn't. You may think you are talking to a certain person, but many times, chances are you will be speaking with an unclean or malevolent spirit who can attach itself to you and bring negativity to your life. Now, it might seem a little ironic that I just said that, because the place we're going to be visiting now is an abandoned insane asylum, and for many decades it's been known to be possessed by evil spirits, by unclean spirits. People have been hearing screaming and shouting going on in this place without anybody being around them. Okay, so we're here today at the abandoned insane asylum. We're here to conduct a EVP session. Basically, it's a session that we put our recording devices on so we can hear voices of the deceased. This place has long been known for its paranormal activity, so we're going to take a look around the building here and see what we can get. So we went around to the building, walked around, get a feel for the place. We came out to the back side of the building, came all the way down to the corner, the south side of the back of the building, and something was off at that point. I myself started getting this pressure around my head, kind of like a squeezing feeling around felt like something was squeezing my head in. And we set up the voice recorders there. The recorder that I use is a special recorder with a ability to record slightly lower frequencies, which is apparently the best for listening to paranormal activity. At one point, my assistant noticed an opening in one of the boarded up doorways. He went up to take a look to see what's inside, and that's when we heard the voice come through. On the third attempt, where we heard a voice as my assistant was taking a look at the boarded doorway there, he saw an opening in the doorway. He went and tried to look through it. He started picking the wood around the opening with his fingers, and that's when we heard the voice, a very faint voice. The voice said, "Don't do that." Believe it or not, that's what it said, "Don't do that," in a faint, almost like a whisper. And
there's something, they're looking at it, it closes right out. Look at this. They don't want you in there. Look at it, behind the board, look how thick this board, this wood is. And behind it, it's closed up.
I'm not sure if you heard that. There was a voice there right as George, my assistant, was speaking. "Don't do that." I'm going to play it a number of times over and over again so you can hear it.
And behind it, it's closed up. And behind it, it's closed up. And behind it, it's closed up.
So after this experience, even though we believed that we were in the presence of a negative or unclean spirit or energy, we came to the conclusion that the person that was on the recorder was probably not malevolent whatsoever. I'm your host, Dr. Tom, Parapsychologist. I hope to see you in the next episode where we travel into the unknown and beyond the world of the norm.